So let's discuss the definition and concept of knowledge. So first of all, what is knowledge? Knowledge is the kind of information or data that has been expressed from the perspective of why, what, and how of a fact, like why this particular thing happened, what has happened, and how this thing take place. Just like the concepts we study in sciences or social sciences regarding the happening of things and the logic behind it, the concept we study in our subject are part of our knowledge only. Knowledge is generally expressed as the information of mankind which takes its inspiration from the material world and the spiritual world, and knowledge has been described differently by different scholars. According to the Indian spiritual philosophers, now what is spiritual philosopher? Spiritual philosophers are those which connected knowledge to the soul. So, according to spiritual philosophers or thinkers, the knowledge is what progresses man and enlightens his path to emancipation. Emancipation means to free from the worldly affairs. And according to Shankar, who was the proponent of Advaita Vedanta, knowledge is to know Brahma or Supreme Being as true, and its ignorance is to know the material world as true. And the concept of knowledge has been described by Plato, who was a great Greek philosopher and scholar as well. According to him, the knowledge is to realize the spiritual system of thoughts and of soul and God. But the view of Indian Buddhist philosophers were different from the previous ones. They didn't recognize or analyze soul and Brahma, rather, they are inclined towards the explanation of man's actual life only. And according to them, this world is composed of suffering, and emancipating man from the worldly suffering is nirvana or emancipation, which means to free the man from the worldly affairs. And in the view of the Buddhist philosophers, knowledge is what emancipates man from the suffering. And according to Dewey, who was a Western pragmatist philosopher, true knowledge is what is useful for mankind. In his words, only that which has been organized into our disposition so as to enable us to adapt the environment to our needs and to adapt our aims and desire to the situation in which we live is real knowledge. And according to the naturalist philosophers, so first of all, what is a naturalist philosopher? A naturalist philosopher is that who is adamant on the beliefs of naturalism. They believe that a person can better learn in naturalist environment and reject the concept of God or idealistic form. So according to naturalist philosopher, they accept only material knowledge as true. And according to Spencer, who was a naturalist philosopher, only knowledge of material world is true. Knowledge pertaining to soul and God are purely imaginary concepts. And Webster has defined knowledge as the information gathered by actual experience. In his words, knowledge is that what is known, that which is preserved by knowing, or that familiarity which is gained by actual experiences. So Webster laid the emphasis on experiences. And it is clear from the above discussion that philosophers have accepted knowledge what they could experience from their materialistic point of view and spiritual point of view. From all these viewpoints regarding knowledge, three facts come to the fore. First, which is knowledge is what is true. Secondly, the knower has belief in the knowledge. And thirdly, the knower has proof about the truth of knowledge. How could the knower has the truth about the knowledge? They have evidence based on their experiences, both materialistically and spiritually. For example, the spiritualist philosopher have proofs to testify the truth of spiritual knowledge, so they accept it as true, while the materialist philosopher have no proof of it being true, so they do not accept it as true. For our purpose, we do not decline any of the concept. We accept both the material and spiritual knowledge as true. Therefore, we are inclined to define knowledge as follows: the information pertaining to the external world experienced by external senses, and innate perception of facts of the spiritual world which can be verified by is true, and we call it knowledge. So now let's discuss the components of knowledge. There are three components of knowledge, which are belief, data, and methods of inference. So first of all, what is belief? So beliefs are the ideas or thoughts which we have used to grown listening to. Belief consists of facts or Now let's discuss the components of knowledge. There are three components of knowledge, which are belief, data, and methods of inference. So first of all, what is belief? So beliefs are the ideas or thoughts which we have grown used to listening to, as a fact as true or false. Belief consists of facts which we consider true or false according to our previously installed thoughts. According to our previously initialized thoughts, we consider a piece of information as true or false, and that what belief is. The belief is a cultivated knowledge which someone has made us believe as true. For example, the mythological tales or the bravery of soldiers account and his courage in the battlefield. This is all what belief is. And it's not generally illogical, but belief can be logical as well. It can rest on logic as well. If someone believes some logic or reasoning as true, he will consider it as belief as well. And this is how the reason that some people believe in the existence of Lord Rama while others not. And they first of all they tend to believe or disbelieve in fact of certainty and vagueness. If some data is uncertain or unclear or vague, then an individual may not believe it and cannot be said to have formed part of his knowledge. Now secondly, what is data? So data is an important part of knowledge. It is a raw fact or structure and cultivate to form a knowledge. Data can help us to cultivate or destroy a information. For example, in the previous times, the earth was considered flat and revolving, and the sun to be revolving around the earth. And after the research works and presentation of facts or data through various sources, it is found to be round in shape and revolving around the sun. Therefore, we learn new things when data is presented in front of us, which is contradictory from belief. Belief is static and data is based upon evidences. So, knowledge is destroyed when some data are presented against it. Despite this data, our psyche infers facts which it thinks are justified, rational, and reasonable, and it tends to discard the others. Thus, knowledge from the same data can amount to different types of knowledge for different individuals. It means to say that there is different physical and mental data for different individuals. Now, methods of inference. So first of all, what is method of inference? It is the way how an individual assimilates data or information to form a new knowledge. How it collects it, or how it places it according to its beliefs or logic. So, and how assimilates to form a new information or knowledge. Here two methods are involved to done so. First one is assimilation of data, which is an inductive method, and secondly the exclusion of knowledge or deduction method. And the base of all this is thinking about the validity and variety of facts before forming a final knowledge. After paying attention to the probability of data presented and thinking about the validity and variety of facts before forming up a final knowledge. And the components of knowledge bring out one point very clearly, that these characters may exist together or one may exist in an exclusion of others, and is due to milieu of an individual, his mental wake up and level, his interest and aptitude, as well as extent of his previous knowledge. And while considering methods of inference, a posteriori knowledge, which is a followed knowledge, which is the knowledge gained after research or facts, is considered is given a superior place than priori knowledge, which is the previous knowledge. So basically, what is the methods, what is how the learner assimilate or deduct a knowledge is due to the information presented in front of him after research work, or the evidences or his personal experiences. On the basis of his, he is able to deduct or assimilate a data or its type and form a new knowledge.